Welcome to the League of Women Voters program on citizen advocacy. And we're delighted to have Senator Marie Pinkney with us today. Jack, I think you were going to start us off.
Well, thank you very much, Linda. I'm Jack Young, along with Linda Barnett from the League of Women Voters Advocacy Corps. We're here today in January 2022 with Delaware State Senator Marie Pinkney to get her thoughts on effective citizen advocacy. Senator Pinkney was elected in 2020 to represent Senate District 13, representing parts of Bear, Newcastle, and southern Wilmington. Thank you so much, Senator, for participating with us. And so let's get started with the first question. In your view, Senator Pinkney, what's the best way for constituents to reach out to you to talk about issues that concern them? That is, how is it that we can best communicate with you about our concerns and your concerns?
Well, hello, Jack, and hello, Linda. It's so exciting to be here with you all this afternoon. One of my favorite topics is how we keep the community engaged with us, because we are the community. And I think that right there is the answer to your question, by remembering that although we have titles that sound fancy, we are just people and we are easily reachable. Especially here in Delaware, we're so lucky that as a small state, we really have access, our constituents really have access to us. So something as simple as an email with the issue that you're concerned about, whether it's your neighborhood needing a stop sign or whether it's gun violence in your community, something as simple as an email is one of the fastest ways to reach us. But you can also walk up to us on the street. I have people that stop in the grocery stores and at Walmart all the time. And it's exciting, it's exciting to recognize that we are just people and we care about the issues that our constituents care about. So chances are, if you catch me at the gym and I'm working out, I'm happy to put down my weights and talk to you about what's going on in the community. And so I think that is the answer to your question, by remembering that we're just people and you reach us the same way you reach anybody else, via email, seeing us on the street, running into us at Leg Hall, or calling our offices.
Well, fantastic.
Wow. Well, let's look at it from the other side. What are the don'ts? What are the types of contact that don't work for you?
That's a good question. One of the things that I think has been difficult is when people reach out via social media, because we have so many different platforms. Sometimes it's hard to stay on top of the direct messages on social media. So it's not that it's a don't, but I don't check those as frequently as I check my email. So if you can find the state legislator's email, which is easy because it's our first name dot last name at delaware.gov, that's probably so much quicker than on social media that I personally don't check as often. Outside of that, for me, I don't have any other hardcore restrictions. Sometimes people reach out to me through my legislative aide, which is also better because he's always in my ear. Or people like to get connected to me through people that they know. And sometimes that feels a little bit more comfortable. But as far as don'ts, I would say I don't have any hardcore do nots, but sometimes people do in their emails come off a little bit aggressive. And so that can be a little bit frightening or startling, especially in today's climate. So I think it's important to show passion, but making sure that passion doesn't come off necessarily aggressive or intimidating.
Well, sometimes organizations, including the League of Women Voters, have campaigns where they send out a message to their membership and say, we want to pass this particular bill, and here's a draft email we want all of you to send. Now, does that kind of message, when you get a lot of emails that say pretty much the same thing, even though they're signed by individuals, how do you react to those types of emails?
No, I think all of us feel a little differently about that. I don't mind it. You know why I don't mind it? Because to me, it means even though they're pre-written for people and it's essentially the same email, one, that means it's easier for me because I don't have to read through a whole bunch of the emails because I know what they all say and I know what the issue is. But even though it's pre-populated, seeing how many people care enough about that issue to take the time to send it is still something that I pay attention to. So I don't think that people should discredit that, because it takes a lot lot of time to compose a well thought out email with data and points. And so it's easy for people to have that template written for them. So to me, it's nice because I don't have to read a whole bunch of different emails, which I don't mind, but it does get time consuming. I can read the first one. I know what it says. And then on top of that, I know how many people took the time out of their day to make sure that I received that email. So I really like those.
Interesting. Yeah. Didn't expect that answer.
That doesn't mean that it's easy. It's still a lot of time to click through them, but I still appreciate knowing how many people care.
And understand, Senator, what about contact from advocates who don't live in your home district? You know, each legislature chairs or serves on multiple committees within the General Assembly. Is it appropriate for Delaware citizens outside your district to contact you, for example, to urge that a particular bill be released from a committee that you serve on?
That's a really good question. I think that it is appropriate, especially if you're talking about a bill that should be released. If it's a committee that the individual serves on, yes. Now, if it's not a committee that the senator or representative serves on, then I don't think that you should spend time trying to get other legislators on board until maybe it goes to the floor. But if you're talking about getting it released from committee, then I don't see anything wrong with reaching out to the legislators that serve on that committee to make sure they give it a favorable vote so that it can be released from committee. What I will say is when we're talking about, just general outreach before a bill gets into committee, sometimes we'll have constituents that reach out to us about specific issues. For instance, people might reach out to me about education. I love education. I think it's important. Wouldn't be sitting here today without you all, but that's not my expertise area. So 9 times out of 10, what I would do is if they want to talk about a policy issue that's not in a committee, I would direct them to Senator Sturgeon or Senator Lockman, who have extensive expertise in education. And I receive the same from my colleagues who receive issues around criminal justice or the correctional system.
Okay. Now, we were wondering if you could share with us if there was a specific time when constituent advocacy actually led you to change your mind about something. And if there was such a time, and maybe there wasn't, but what approach did those citizen advocates take? How did they communicate with you, and how did that work out?
That's a really good question. I don't know that there was a specific time when I needed to where someone made me change my mind on something, which I hope is a reflection that I'm doing with the community, is asking from the beginning. And also that I'm only a year in, so I'm sure there will be time when that happens. But there was a time when I was really undecided about a particular vote, and community outreach helped. We did a bill last year around reform for, oh my goodness, what was it? For bail reform. It was changing some things with the bail system. And I was particularly undecided about it because it was focused on some of the most heinous and severe crimes. And I think that it gets easy for us as individuals to say that those people deserve the book thrown at them, the key melted, and for them to be forgotten about. It gets really easy for us to say that when we're looking at particular crimes. But I'm also a firm believer that the way that we're doing corrections right now, the way that our justice system is set up, is not necessarily set up to be effective even for people who commit some of the most severe crimes. So I was really back and forth on that vote. And I got a lot of outreach from organizations like the ACLU, NAACP, and so many more that did not support that bill and did not want to see that bill pass. And so recognizing that I was going to be the only one in my chamber to vote against it was really hard, but seeing that I wasn't the only person that felt the way that I felt about that bill really helped me to make a firm decision to vote against it.
Wow, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Senator, as we start to wrap up, do you have any other thoughts or advice for citizens as they approach the advocacy with you and members of the Senate that you'd like to share with us as ways that we can best serve you and the citizens of the state of Delaware?
Absolutely. I think starting right here is probably the best advice that I can give, is that pick your issues, What are the issues that you care about? What are the issues that keep you up at night, that move you? And then once you figure out what those are, find an advocacy group that is feeling the same way that you're feeling. We are powerful as individuals, but we are a force and a movement when we move into community. So if you find and connect with other people who care about the same issues that you care about, it amplifies your voice, it amplifies the issue, and it really, really is powerful for us to see how many people care about an issue, to see how people feel about an issue. I always go back to this idea that being a senator or a representative is so glamorous, and it is. I mean, it's exciting. It's a really cool title. The office is nice, but at the end of the day, I'm just a voice and a vessel for the people that put me here. And so hearing from you guys, hearing from constituents, hearing from advocacy groups makes me that much better of a legislator. That really is the glitz and the glamour, because I'm amplifying what is important to the community. I'm making sure that the League of Women Voters voice is heard and represented on the chamber floor. And so if I could give any piece of advice, it would be to find a community and make a lot of noise alongside your community.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you so much. These have been terrific responses, and we can't wait to share it with our full group when we go live, which I'm sorry that you won't be able to join us there. So thank you, and we wish you all great success as you continue to represent your constituents so very well.
Linda, Jack, thank you both. It has been a wonderful, delightful conversation, and I have so much energy to go on the Senate floor today after talking with you both. So I really, really appreciate the time that we spent together.
Well, Godspeed and thank you.
Thank you.